Several years ago, Brother Cole came to me, and it's been, honey, probably 3 or 4 years ago. He actually, before that, he came to my father-in-law. That's a bad thing to go to, is a man's father-in-law, amen, without him knowing it. Brother Cole went to my father-in-law, and he said, and I didn't even know about it, but he said, I believe that man is going to be the next pastor of my church. This was years ago. My father-in-law told me that, and I laughed. And I said, in his wildest dreams, I ain't leaving home. I got it made in the shade with lemonade. I ain't leaving home. And he said, no, and he did. He said, I'm praying, but I like him and I like her. And God has something that when I get around them, I like it. Now that's wisdom on a man's part that knew that it may take several years. And guess what? It took several years. I mean, to be honest, he said that to my father-in-law, and then a few years later, he approached me at a conference. I was at a conference, and Brother Cole came over to me, and he said, hey, he said, I want you to pray about something. And I said, okay. I want you to come down there and consider pastoring that church. I'm going to give it up in a little while. And I said, and I hope you're doing well. That's what he said. And again, I kind of shrugged it off a little bit, and I said, bless his heart. That's exactly what I just kind of thought, like, yeah, you know. The next year at the same conference, I'm not, honestly, my hand on the Bible, he came to me again at almost the same place. We're shaking hands and all. It might have been right before the service or something. And he said, now, have you been praying about what I said last year? And I had to think about what he said. And I said, Brother Cole, to be honest, I don't think I have. And he said, will you start praying about it? Because I'm serious. And I said, all right, I'll start praying about it. As soon as I started praying, God started working. Now, I was up there and I was serving along with my father, and I was, man, thank God was blessing and things was happening. Like Brother Jacob had said, God sent a revival to our church. God sent a revival to our young people. Hey, God was doing something. Hey, but meanwhile, there was a preacher in Simpsonville that was getting the altar ready and preparing things. Isn't it wonderful? Some people believe that during this dispensation or during this church age that the church of God cannot grow, it cannot prevail. But I disagree with that. I believe that God still blesses the local New Testament church. And I do believe that during this Laodicean age we can still see church growth and people saved. See, I'll be honest with you, church, if it was all about my will, I would have never came to Simpsonville. Honestly, I would have never packed my family up after a beautiful home that we had purchased and the schools that our kids were in, and the church. Oh, the church was wonderful, and working with my dad and all the things. Hey, on the outside, I was looking at it like, hey, this is wonderful. This is the greatest thing in the world, getting to work alongside my dad in a good church with a good youth group and a good job and a good house, and everybody's happy. That ain't what God wanted. And when we start looking at it like, hey, this is all about myself, can I tell you, it is not about you, it's about the Lord. Timothy was not told to preach preferences. Timothy was not told to preach opinions. Timothy was not told to preach politics. Timothy was not told to preach agendas or ideas or camps or conferences or colleges or even good books. Timothy was told to preach the Word.
It's the Word that people need to hear when they come to church. That's why some may wonder, Pastor, why don't you get even more political than you do? Why don't you preach on current events like it? And listen, there's a time and place for some of that. But can I tell you, when the Word sits on this podium, that's the time. That's the front and center that we need more than anything. We need the Word. I prayed for this 10 years ago. Some of you in here prayed for this longer than I prayed for it. You know what you prayed for. We saw what God wanted to do with Bible Baptist Church, and now God is answering our prayer, and we're like, I just don't know if I'm ready for this. No. God chooses to bless churches. We don't understand His ways, but He chooses to bless churches for a certain reason, for a certain season. And if you don't want that blessing, He'll remove it. He'll remove it.
I'm not going, Brother Linwood, it's up to God. It's up to God who comes to this church. It's up to God. Everything's up to God. And if we just say, God, it's your church, it's not my church. I'm just a little old bush over here trying to be obedient, trying to grow where you planted me. God, that's where I want to be. God will say, well then let me do the work, and He's going to send the people here. People's going to be saved. Families are going to be put together. I want to see buses one day added to the fleet out here. I want to see vans added to the fleet. I want to see one day, we were talking one day, possibly a gymnasium for children and Sunday school classes and maybe a school one day and a sanctuary one day. You say, why? God's already got it mapped out. I want you tonight, real quick, just to maybe ask the Lord, just kind of draw a circle around yourself and say, Lord, could I be used of God to see this church go on for the Lord and see heights that we've never seen before, where people, when they pass by this property and they look over to the left or right, they say, man, God's building a church. All I'm concerned about, lifting Jesus up in a day and age where people are looking everywhere else but Jesus.